This is Gary Guyman with the Dominate the Day podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to help you get 1% better in your business, provide clarity, and give you some ideas that will help you grow your business. If you're ready to dominate the day, let's go.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't want to dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you want to dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.
Talking about stories. It's story time this week, basically. First week of August, story time. If you haven't listened to the last 3 episodes, go back and listen to those episodes, Dominate Nation. But today I want to tell a story. I've told one boat story already. I want to tell another boat story. This is one of my least favorite boat stories that there are. I think I've owned a boat probably 6 years out of my life. First boat I owned, 2002, I think it was, 2007. 19-foot Stingray open bow. Nice little just runabout boat. It was fun. So I take a buddy out, Garrett, his kids. I think we took like 4 kids out. It was a Monday. So we go to this local lake. We go out. And there literally is nobody on the lake. We're out, doing our thing, tubing, doing whatever. And driving along. We do you remember this? Remember this story? We're driving along. We hit a wake, go up, boom, come back down. The boat just loses all power. Like, holy shit. It was a brand new boat. The boat was only like probably a year old. So we open up the engine hatch. We're looking like, what the fuck? And if I didn't mention this already, no one was on the lake. Like, nobody. In fact, when we put in, I think we were the only trailer in the parking lot when I put the boat in. So it's a Monday. Nobody's on the lake. We hit this wake. We lose all power. So, I mean, I understand the schematics of how an engine works. I get it, You got to have fire, you got to have fuel, all that good stuff. The problem was we didn't have any power to turn a starter, to get fire, to hit the fuel, to have combustion, to start the engine. Like, we had nothing. Everything was out. Radio, everything was out. So we're like, is it fuses? Looking at fuses, no fuses. Connection on the battery. Connection on the batteries are fine. They're tight. They haven't moved. We're looking for loose connections everywhere. Nothing is showing up. So we spent probably about an hour and a half, and all of a sudden a little fisherman guy comes by in his little John boat, and he stops, asks us what the problem is. We tell him. He's like, you want to tow back to the dock? Absolutely. So he tows us back to the dock. We all get back, to the truck. We drive home. Next day I take it to the service place. Take the boat, tell them the story. Like, okay, we'll check it out. 4 days go by. It's Friday. I get a call. Hey, we figured out what the problem was. Like, oh yeah? He goes, yeah, it took us 3 days, but we figured out what the problem was. He goes, what happened was when you hit that wake, there was a loose screw that there was a screw that held a connector piece of a wire into plastic on the boat. And when you hit that wake, basically, the head of the screw stayed on the connector, but it backed out of the plastic, which also had a metal connector that the connector of the wire had to touch, because you would have never seen it because the head of the screw was still on it. And so because that happened, there was no connection, you didn't have any power. And this was before cell phones, so he couldn't it was like right at the beginning of cell phones, I should say. But he wasn't sending a picture via text because SMS really wasn't a thing at that point. But he's like, I'll show you a picture of it when you get in. So he had taken a picture, and he had, I think it was a Polaroid. He shows me a Polaroid, and sure enough, like, we looked right at that, but we didn't touch it. We're looking at it, and the screw had backed out. And because the screw had backed out, it was still in the connector, there was no connection, but we wouldn't have seen it. So what's the lesson? What's the story? You see, we're always trying to figure out and diagnose our problems, and we're always trying to figure out how to fix situations. Here's the thing. Sometimes you're not going to see it. You're not going to see what the problem is because you're staring at it, and you're staring at the same thing with the same ideology, with the same solutions. That's why sometimes it's necessary to bring someone in, say, hey, look at this problem. Tell me what the solution is so I can fix it. And you get a fresh set of eyes. You get a fresh set of ideology. You get a fresh set of someone being able to look at it in a different way, being able to see that even though the screw is in the connector, it's not attached. And so there you solve the problem. But we have this thing called ego. And our ego doesn't want to allow people to be able to provide help, provide value, give us a new set of eyes. And so we stay stuck on the water until the fisherman comes by to take us to the dock so we can limp home. Do you want to limp home or do you want to dominate? You want to dominate, you got to bring other people in to be able to help you solve problems, overcome issues, and become the greatest version of yourself. You want to dominate the day? Let somebody else look at that screw. Let somebody else look at that connection to see it for what it is so you can fix it, you can dominate the day.
Dominate the day, that's what we're about to do. If you don't wanna dominate, then this podcast ain't for you. But if you are, then keep listening, cause every single damn day, the mission is to dominate. You already know we're here to dominate the day. So if you wanna dominate every day, then let's go, it's time to grow. This is another episode of Dominate the Day.